Hello and welcome to round 13 of the major Series Sportsman America division from Mount Panorama. For Raceverse, I'm Matt Houston, your broadcaster for tonight's Bathurst 500. So as you can see, Mount Panorama, a classic course from that the major series runs, also known as the Mountain. We're going to run 81 laps here tonight. This is the Sportsman America series, so just under the Pro Series. Some of the drivers have moved up to the Pro Series. We can have a look at the points. This is before we do that, let's go standing start. One backup car, 3.661 mile course, 6.2k miles, so 500k, 81 laps is 500k just about. So a quick rundown of the points. So Mark Stevenson, he was nice enough to give me a little rundown on everything. He's running the Pro Series tonight because he's clinched that championship a little bit early here. So good for him. We have Daniel Johnson also looking to secure that second spot. Robert Deloach right behind him. Brian Halleck, Chris Tito in fifth. Zachary Brown, Stephen Paulison, Ernie Ludwig, Matt Gelder in ninth, and Rob Powers. And so we'll quickly run through the grid here. We've got 4 minutes. We're still in practice. You might hear the cars in the background. So George Cardamone on the pole for tonight's race. Nathan Medina in second. Chris Tito in third. Daniel Johnson in fourth. Dale Green in fifth. Robert Deloach in sixth. Chris Sherburne in seventh. Zachary Brown in eighth. David Gargaroth Jr. in ninth. And Brian Halleck pointing out the top 10. Maurice Gomillion in 11th, Stephen Paulison in 12th, Jason McSparron in 13th, Robert Covey in 14th, Gerard Gilbert in 15th, David Anderson in 16th, Daniel Davis in 17th, Chris McEnany in 18th, Rob Powers in 19th, George Ankus in 20th. That's final 8 cars of the grid. Ernie Ludwig in 21st, Joey Haynes 22nd, Timothy Klaus, Jeremy Tester, Matt Gelder, Rob Courtney, and Dominic Warwick, and Casey Sawich. Not sure if everybody, I see 27 cars currently out here tonight. As we get our first shots here, we've got about 3 minutes left, so shout out to our charity for tonight, Mission Australia. Mission Australia provides nationwide services to help people find safe and affordable housing, support disadvantaged children and families, empower troubled young people, assist people with mental illness and disability, and much more. So the link is in the description. Donate to Mission Australia. Visit missionaustralia.com.au/takeaction. Again, that information is in the description of the video. And I'd just like to thank Major's Garage here. This is our first broadcast. This is round 13, so I'm sort of like thrown into the thick here. But I appreciate Major's Garage, or Major Series, for giving me the opportunity. Major's Garage, of course, is a sponsor out here, part of the Major Series, of course. So looking at the temperatures also out here tonight, we're going to be starting this race right about 1 p.m. sim time. From the beginning of practice, we started practice 2 hours ago, in fact. I was about to say an hour, but 2 hours ago, and that temperature has risen since then. And usually as iRacing goes, the temperature will rise through that about 2 o'clock time, and then it will, maybe around 2:30, will start to go down as the sun, makes the arc in the sky. So I hope everybody is going to enjoy this race. Like I said, this is growing into the thick of things, and we'll do what we can out here. We've got cars. Our pole sitter out here running some laps. These guys have been running quite a few laps for the last 2 hours, so hopefully they're not too tired. This is a little bit of an endurance race. One thing I noted was that there's no incident limit on this race. I mentioned that to Mark before the race, and we got a good explanation for the whole thing. Was that if anybody's going to get 60 incidents in this race, or that thereabout, they're not going to finish this race anyway, so there's no incident limit in this particular race. One final shout out here, well, one of many is going to happen tonight, but Majors Garage is one of the sponsors for this series, tonight's race, and you can find a bunch of free setups there, as well as setups for over 40 different vehicles. They have over 20 pro-level experts who build car setups. So that's majorsgarage.com, majorsgarage.com. So check that out, in addition to Mission Australia. And of course, the Major Series here, as we run down out of practice, you can join the Major Series, pacificmajors.com. Major Series gives sim racing enthusiasts the opportunity to race in the most prestigious and iconic motor races in the world via the iRacing simulator. And they go to all the different kind of premier tracks around the world. Obviously, Monaco is not an iRacing, so they can't go there, but they go to quite a few of the other tracks. As we head to the grid, we already ran through the grid. We're going to be getting a standing start here. Currently getting a view from McMurray's corner down towards L corner. See if we can get some good camera angles for you guys. Yeah, exactly, as John King speaks up. That's a min mistake, but nobody's going to finish this race with 60 incidents. They might, you might get a 0x no incident and still not be able to finish the race. This is going to be a race of survival, especially once they get through Hell Corner and then through Quarry and onto the mountain section into the S's. That's this first lap is going to be tricky. As we wait for these cars, we're about to go here. Green flag. Cardamom looks like he has a good start, but we have, I think that's Chris Yatito, and in fact, he didn't get a good start, and we're going to have Dominic, well, no, that's incorrect. Chris Yatito taking the lead. Had some bad information there for a second. As they head down to the Quarry corner, we've got a little bit of a gap for these first four cars. Throw a blanket over them as they head through Quarry. Nathan Medina is going to take the lead. As we bring up the leaderboard for you. And we're still estimating out the time of this particular race. I'm not sure why we have the timer there, but as they head up the mountain, they're going to So Cardamone, our pole sitter, dropping back to third position. Chris Yatito taking the lead for a moment back there as they head through the S's for the very first time. So far, so good. It looks like they're pretty safe. Somebody locked up their tires there. So I'll get a confirmation on the laps here. Obviously, we're on lap 1 at the moment. Everybody's safely through, it seems like. Rob Courtney is currently at the back of the field. We had Daniel Davis, one of the... Looks like he might be having an issue. Because he had started... Let's see here. Apologize here. Let's get back to the lead. So Medina leads the first lap here at Mount Panorama. Chris Yatito is second, Cardamone in third, our pole sitter. Johnson in fourth. So we have a gaggle of cars back here heading through Hell Corner. As they head on to Quarry there. we'll go on board with one of our drivers here. Dale Green in the 6th position, started 5th, so he's dropped back a position. But I want to see Daniel Davis here. He started 17th. He dropped back to 27th. So currently at the back of our field there. So not a good start with him, but he's currently running. He has pits. So he did get a pit on that first lap. He's running behind Timothy Klaus. So the first 3 cars of the field have sort of checked out from 4th position as Nathan Medina hops over the curbs there in the S's. Car a little bit sideways. As I can see Jeff Cardamone, Chris Iatito making a little bit of a mistake there, locking up those tires as they head onto the Conrad Straight. We'll see if Jeff Cardamone can make any advantage going into the chase here. They hit a wide arc into the chase. Hard braking. No advantage made there. So Nathan Medina's now checked out about a second. And Johnson's dropped back here in 4th. Johnson's dropped back. Well, he started 4th, but he's dropped back from those leaders, about 3 seconds back. Chris Sherburne here started 7th, he's up to 5th. Dale Green is currently running 7th, dropping back a couple positions from his starting position. Trying to look for if we have any passing opportunities out here. I do see back at the front, Chris Iatito is pressuring Nathan Medina up there at the front. Everybody's keeping it pretty clean. A little bit of damage on that left door there as I see Jeff Cardamone run a little wide, but I don't think he brushed that wall or anything like that. And again, yes, this race will be 81 laps. I will confirm everything with the viewers tonight. Unfortunately, my overlay has decided that we're gonna run a timed race, which is 2 hours and 51 minutes. That is incorrect. So we'll just hide that off the screen, not to confuse anybody that's out there. As Chris Iatito dropped back a little bit, and Cardamone's gonna try to get that slipstream as they head onto the Conrad Straight. Is he gonna pull out though? Let's go on board with him. Hard braking into the chase. He looks inside, not gonna happen though. So Cardamone, only car in the top 5 running a Holden. The rest of the cars, basically this entire field, other than about maybe, let's see here, I don't know, maybe a little bit more than a handful, like maybe 8 cars are running the Holden. Everybody else is running a Mustang. Kind of makes sense. Actually, a mistake there. Iatito is also in. They're both in Holdens, in fact. But most of the field, I was noticing, are running the Mustang. We are in the our Sportsman America series here, so you know, I can understand that we're gonna be running the Mustang, Ford Mustang. Heading back to a battle for the 5th position between Chris Sherburne and Zachary Brown. He is right on the bumper. As they head up the mountain here. Oh, I hear a little bit of bent, not carbon fiber as some of the series I would this is just Usual bodywork off the production cars, from what I understand. Oh, we got a car around there. That was a lapped car, and that was the leaders going around that car, who was lost it in the S's. That was actually our leader who turned it around there. Let me get a replay of that and see what happened. Our leader lost it at the S's, so that will be Chris Yatito taking the lead. Good that we caught that. So he's gonna lose it in the S's. And he's gonna get that toe. Oh, is he gonna just... I didn't think we'd have to go back this far to get this replay. Oh, he loses it coming out of the SS, and he puts that car into the wall. And he's just stuck there. He does the gentlemanly thing and gets that tow truck. Wow. Well, that changes things a little bit. So Jeff Cardamone also got around Chris Yatito in that whole battle there. So our pole sitter retaking the lead there. We're now on lap 5. We're going to be running between 20 to 23 laps, maybe even up to 25 laps on a stint of fuel. So we'll be looking about three or four pit stops during this race, depending on the strategies out there. We'll be looking about 20, 40, 60. You might go to 25, 50 and make just a splash at the end from about, say, between 70 to 75. So again, back to third position. We've got third through fifth, a tight battle between these cars. About 6 seconds back from that pair at the front. As we have several other cars I'm noticing on the pit lane. These cars, they do get a faster pair out here, but for instance, Nathan Medina's on the pit lane, but he'll have a long tow back to the pit lane. So Daniel Johnson's gapping just a little bit there over Sherburne as they head through Conrad Strait into the chase. Zachary Brown back here, though, pressuring Chris Sherburne. Actually, quite a few battles. So, like, back to 11th. We have Brian Hellick just ahead of Robert Covey there in 10th. Basically, we've got 9th, 10th, and 11th. And 12th, actually, right there. Actually, no, that was 9th through 11th. Gerard Gilbert is another 6 seconds back from that grouping of cars that we were just looking at. And again, very tight race between these cars here. Things are calming down a little bit, but there's really no calming down at this particular Mount Panorama. You get up into the mountain section, Cardamone leading. It's getting a little bit, these tires are going to start to wear. We're on the 6th lap of 81. Tires are going to start wearing out. So currently looking, a lot of our cars, only the 2 lead cars have done a lap in the 208s. Most of the other cars are kind of circulating several seconds back at about 2:11 to 2:12 kind of laps. As they just want to get through this race. 81 laps here at Bathurst, the Bathurst 500, 81 laps. As Cardamone heads into the chase, takes that wide arc taking all the track he can. Our second place car, we'll just go through the field here. Second place car, Chris Yatito, he's dropped back a couple seconds from Cardamone. This car looks pretty clean so far. Daniel Johnson, so here's our tightest battle. Third through fifth. Right on each other as they head out of McMurray. Heading into the Hell Corner. Daniel Johnson just getting a little bit of tire slippage there coming out of the corner. A little bit of fishtail. We'll see if Chris Sherburne can take advantage of that. I think they're just trying to force each other into mistakes, and I haven't seen too many attempts to say do a dive bomb or any attempt to actually make a pass. It's just waiting for that driver, pressuring that driver ahead of you into a mistake and then taking advantage of that mistake. And as we saw when it was Nathan Medina, who's back on track, by the way, running in 25th. Luckily, those cars behind him did not get collected by the mistake he made. You could see that car of Chris Sherburne in the fourth position, leaning on that right front tire. They head through the S's, and right about that point where Nathan Medina made that mistake and turned that car around earlier in the race. So Daniel Johnson currently second in the points. Between him and, well, Chris Yatito is currently fifth in points, but Robert DeLoach is the other car that is kind of fighting Johnson, but Johnson's in the prime position here, running in third. Really good points for him, so he doesn't want to make any mistakes out here. That puts DeLoach, who's running back here in seventh, in contention. And you get to see another grouping of cars just right there, as I think Brown gets around Sherburne. I think that was through Hell Corner there. Yeah, they're heading towards Quarry. Cardamone's now gapped 3 seconds. Let's go through the field completely. So Cardamone started first. He dropped back to third, and he's back up to first now. Chris Yatito started third, running second. Daniel Johnson started fourth, running third. Zachary Brown, Chris Sherburne right behind him, started seventh, running in fifth. David Gargaro Jr. running in sixth. Robert DeLoach running in seventh. Right behind him, we've got Maurice Gamillion, Robert Covey, and Ryan Halleck. So big battle between from sixth and all the way back to 10th. Then we have back here Gerard Gilbert, Joey Haynes running in 12th, Stephen Paulison in 13th. Ernie Ludwig, he's a mover in this race. He started 21st. He's running in 14th. So good move by Ernie Ludwig there. Rob Powers also moving up a few spots into 15th. David Anderson started 16th, hasn't moved up, but that car looks hasn't taken any damage or anything like that. George Angus. Also, car looks pretty clean so far. We're on the 8th lap of 81, 10% through the race. Jeremy Testar also moving up from 24th to 18th position at the moment. Jason McSparron here. Greg McEnany in 20th, so he's dropped back a couple spots. Timothy Klaus, as I saw Greg McEnany up there lock up those tires, but A little bit of damage on that right door, I can see on him too. Dominic Warwick started 27th, running in 22nd. Daniel Davis right behind him. Matt Gelder, so a big gap back, 8 seconds back, and then we've got another 12 seconds back to Nathan Medina, our early leader in the race. He's going to have to survive on this car. He probably took that fast repair, and he's going to have to survive the next 72 laps of this race. Rob Courtney back here. Last running car. Dale Green on pit lane. So he's our first car that's out of the race. Trying to see if I can confirm that. Let's head back to that battle for 6th and see how that's going. Robert Deloach leads this group. Robert Covey back in 10th position. As I saw, it was Deloach or Maurice Gamillion that locked it up there for a moment, coming out of Forest Elbow, or coming out of the dipper onto Forest Elbow, onto the Conrad Straight. Maurice taking some curb there into the chase. Oh, we've got Robert Covey getting around Brian Halleck, I believe, there. These cars are a little bit south of halfway through their first stint, so these tires are certainly going to be wearing. As you can see, that left door of Robert Covey there has taken some damage. Everybody's going to be having damage at one point or another through this race. So 6th and 7th, or 7th and 8th, of starting to gap from that 9th and 10th cars back there. Back towards the front in 5th, Chris Sherborne, so Daniel Johnson got around him. Actually, Brown, did he get around Johnson? Brown's a big mover in this race. He started 8th and he's running in 5th. Good for him. Obviously that mistake by Nathan Medina helping with that as well. Let's keep it on the road. So Gomillion and Covey heading out of the S's. Heading through Forest Elbow. Downhill. Fastest part of the track. One of our other movers in the race is Ludwig here. But I'm just looking for gaps between drivers and seeing if there's opportunities for passing. But I see it's Gamillion and Deloach. They're kind of the tightest battle on the track. Another one is Halleck and Covey that we've been following this whole race so far, it seems like. And that was 11 laps completed in this race at the line. Let's head back and just look at how Medina's doing here. He did get around Gelder, so he's made up a spot. Three cars have pitted during this race. That was Dale Green, who's in last. He's out of the race now. Daniel Davis also had to make a pit. He had started 17th. He's in 23rd. Dominic Warwick right in his path. So nobody has actually gone a lap down that is Rob Courtney has, but other than that, Gelder's he's about 40 seconds ahead of the leader. Let's have a quick look at the best laps so far. So Cardamone is in the 208s. Yatito in the 208s as well. You can see just kind of progressively as they go down, fourth and fifth in the 20, or third through fifth in 209s, and then beyond that, everybody's in the 210s. So they're kind of where their speeds would be. Although Medina, who was that, actually Medina has the fastest lap of the race, as we can see, and actually he just got around several cars. Okay, that's incorrect information, but he's in 24th, but he has set the fastest lap of the race at a 2:07. Obviously, that was before he made that mistake. Getting a little bit of wheel spin, even coming out of that corner. So, well, you might want to just calm down a little bit. Keep that the Ford Mustang clean. He's got another 68 laps to go. We have a big gap to Deloach here. Or sorry, to Johnson here. 13 seconds. He's behind Chris Yatito in second. Probably the best battle on the track here between Johnson and Sherburne as they head through the S's, or out of the S's, through the Dipper and on the Conrad Straight. So shout out once again to our charity in this Mission Australia. Mission Australia provides nationwide services to help find safe and affordable housing, support disadvantaged children and families, empower troubled young people, assist people with mental illness, disability, and much more. So donate to Mission Australia, a really good cause. missionaustralia.com.au/take action. Their link is in the description of the video. Ryan Halleck, right on the bumper of Robert Covey still. Let's go on board. Take a little bit different look here. Looking ahead as they head down. Heading towards Quarry up ahead. Hard braking. You're gonna get a really good, cool shot of the cutting up ahead. And through Griffin's Mount. A Reed Park of Frog Hollow. It's corner after corner. 23 corners. There was the grate, as they call it sometimes, of the mountain. That right front tire just taking a lot of pain up these a lot of left-hand corners that put a lot of pressure on that tire. Here's another one. We're gonna get a really quick one coming up. Brian Howlett, Club Georgia. Looking also ahead, Chris Shorborn still right on Daniel Johnson here. Right on that bumper as they head through Murray's Corner. And once again, apologies that we don't have the lap count. We're currently on lap 14, so I'm just going to keep trying to update that as much as we can. Little screw up on the overlay tonight. I apologize about that. We'll get it corrected for our next race at Fontana for sure. Have to have lap count on ovals. As we have Sherborne looking inside on Johnson as they head into Quarry. I think he's going to make this work. Sherburne takes over the third spot, starting 7th. Johnson doesn't fight back too much. He might just be trying to ride it out. Yeah, we're currently on lap 14. He's got about another 10 laps until he'll be pitting. Back up to the front. Cardamone, so he was a pole sitter, from what I understand, at Belgium. Did not win that race. I don't believe he's won a race yet this season. But he's very quick, and he obviously had the pole out today. He had the pole at Belgium, from what I understand. Running for GCA Racing. So if he can put this together, it'd be really good for his resume if he can put this Bathurst 500 victory on his resume. So these drivers wanting to move up to the Pro Series, as I was mentioning earlier, Mark Stevenson, talked to him earlier today. He is the champion in this Sportsman Series, America Series. Mark Stevenson is, and he's running in the pro race right now over there on the other channel. I think it was on GSRC. But stay here watching this. So actually that last lap for Cardamone, he is not slowing down. So this is what he's asked to be a little bit careful of. He, that last lap was a 2:08.547. That was his fastest lap of the race. Obviously the fuel loads are coming down. But, you know, he's 11 seconds ahead. He doesn't need to be pushing. Just needs to be keeping it straight, keeping it between the walls. No safer barriers on these, not that would make much of a difference. Next week, in a couple weeks, we'll have safer barriers at Fontana. You can see he has left door damage on that car, so he has brushed up against it, you know, pretty heavily, but I don't think that's slowing him down in any way. So like Chris Yatito here, back here in second, his last lap was 1.5 seconds slower than Cardamone. So he's just keeping that car underneath him, and even though he was a second and a half slower, he's still 14 seconds ahead of Chris Sherborne here on third. Chris Sherborne, so he made that move on Daniel Johnson, and now he's checked out a couple seconds from him. Yeah, and I see somebody commenting that the mountain is a death trap. It certainly is. So Zachary Brown, only Dale Green is out of the race. Zachary Brown is still out here. He's 4 laps down. That car does not look very healthy. Started 8th. Yeah, I mean, he was one of our... let me see if I can figure out where he's at in the points. He is 6th in points. He runs for Forge Silver. Not a good running for him. I might have a note about him. Not that I'm seeing. One person I can talk about, we were watching earlier, Brian Halleck, he won the Silver Crown race earlier this season, from what I understand. But that Mark Stevenson I mentioned, I talked to him earlier. He won 8 races in this series, 9 top 5s of the 12 races he started. So he pretty much dominated this show. We can be a little bit thankful he's moved on to the Pro Series. Give some other drivers a chance. As Cardamone here just laid down another, as he's coming up to some lap traffic here, he just laid down another 207.976 lap, his fastest lap of the race. We're on lap 16 as he's on the Conrad Straight. Looks like that lapped car is gonna let him go by. But he might get, even if those cars are letting him by, he might get a little tricked out on all of that. I can see some bad information on the leaderboard there where it's showing some cars as pitting, but oh, we had that lapped car went wide there. I'm not sure who that was. Let's see if we can figure out who that was. Gonna have to go through Daniel. I think it was Daniel Davis. Let's get a quick replay of that. He's just gonna go wide at Murray's corner there. Oh, yeah, it had already happened at that point. He was nice enough to let that. He was nice enough to let the leader go by, and then ends up kind of making a mistake on his own. Murray's corner here probably misses his braking point. Oh, it looked like he locked up the rears ever so slightly, and obviously he had some damage on that car. Tough break for Daniel right there. So that's the kind of action that Cardamone wants to happen behind him. And that was the opportune time. He had obviously lapped that car here. It sees Cardamone's on the downhill section. So that last lap, he had that lap traffic was a 1.5 seconds slower than his previous lap. So as soon as they hit that lap traffic, they get slowed down just a little bit. Now he's on the downhill section. So Cardamone, I mentioned earlier, GCA Racing. Nathan Medina has moved back up. He was 25th earlier, maybe even 26th after that towing incident. He's moved it up to 18th position. He's the leader of the cars that have pit, not that it really makes a difference. So he's 5 laps in the good on other cars that are out here. Everybody else is on 17. We're 17 laps into the race. Everybody's on, 17th. As Cardamone just completes the 18th lap onto the 18th lap of the race. One of our battles we've been watching was that Sherburne got around Johnson. Johnson's second in the points, looking to secure that over Deloach. So one thing I was also hearing about earlier today was that Chris Iatito, so he runs for Forge Gold, the team, and there's quite a few drivers that run for Forge Gold, and he's kind of a setup guru for the team. He's coming alive here in this particular race with a really good run. a 888 car. From what I understand, he kind of had some bad luck this season. A podium finish here would certainly help with that. I'm gonna make one adjustment here, so I'm gonna throw up the Be Right Back overlay and make one adjustment, see if I can fix something that I'm noticing. All right, we're back. I don't know if that will fix what... So we're getting some, like, cars... It's saying cars are in the pit when they're not in the pit, and I was hoping to fix that, and what I set might help that, but we'll see if it actually does or not. So Cardamone, only car, like, under 2 minute 10 at the moment. So Ernie Ludwig here in 13th, he started 21st. He's making it up through the field. He's kind of catching up to Paulison up there. Ludwig running for Kinetic America Sport. You can see, I think that is Rob Powers behind him, his teammate. So those guys will be, you can see those liveries are comparable to one another. A little bit of left door damage there on Rob Powers' vehicle there. Oh, as Ernie had a little bit of a slow moment there out of the chase. It almost looked like Rob was going to run into the back of him. Cardamone has hit the pit. That's an early pit stop. Alright, that's his bad information once again. You can see it's showing several cars, so I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. So Ludwig maintains that position even though he had that slow exit out of the chase over Rob Powers. They might have some team orders there, but I don't really think so. But you can see Ernie's car there is a little bit... He didn't have that left or right door damage. Yeah, I keep seeing that Yatito is taking the lead, but that is bad information. As Yatito navigates out of Murray's corner there. There was another forged car behind him. That was a lapped car. Another lapped car ahead of Yatito here. As we are now on lap 20. So we're going to be looking for pit stops to happen in the next 4 or 5 laps, I'd say. Maybe even sooner. It just depends on whether you want to run long and get, you know, a low fuel run at the very end with fresher tires. Then if you pit early, you won't get that chance to have fresher tires late in the race. Oh, this Cardamone getting a little bit of oversteer through the S's there. He's not slowing down though, because his last lap was 208. He's the only car in the 208s. As he works on one of the lappers down Conrad Straight into the chase. That's a Forge car ahead of him. So Deloach has moved up. He had dropped back a couple spots. He's in 6th now. And he's battling with Johnson for that 2nd place position in the championship. Kind of a kinetic. So Johnson running for Kinetic America Sport. Deloach running for Forge Gold. Forge Gold has 5 cars in the top 5, or sorry, 4 cars in the top 5. Another one in 6 is Forge Silver, Zachary Brown, who's having a unfortunate race. I see he actually had an 8-minute pit stop at some point in time. It seems long even with a tow. So our eyes will be on Cardamone, and when he pits, we don't want to get speeding penalty. The entry to the pits is a little tricky. As you're coming out of the chase, you've kind of got this like a little bit of a chicane as you're going into the pits, just to try to slow down the cars. So we're a quarter through this race. About 45 minutes into the race, I'd estimate. Keeping an eye on Cardamone. So he's not going to go into the pits this time. He's going to head through Murray's corner. He's going to keep going. So Maurice Gomillion, another Forge entry. He's right on Deloach up there. Teammates. Robert Covey's not too far behind them, and this is kind of the group that's been in this race. And another driver we really haven't talked about is David Gargaro. I believe that Gargaro... Okay, he's Team Dynasty. I was thinking we've got a couple drivers that are independent, but Gargaro's 17th in the points. He actually won a race. I have a note about which race he won. I do not think I have it. Yeah, I do not. So we're on the 22nd lap of 81. Slow car ahead of Cardamone. I believe that's one of his teammates. Similar looking livery. I don't know who that was, though. Might have been... Yeah, I'm not sure who that was. I tried to have a look, but the cars that I was guessing it might have been was not who it was. I'd say that Warwick here has to be pretty happy. He started 17th, he's running 18th, so that's not bad. A lot of these guys just want to finish this race. We've got cars making pit stops here. Several cars coming into the pit lane. We're right in that window now. Jason McSparren. Greg McEnany also in. Ernie Ludwig stays out. McSparren has some Discord sponsorship. Greg McEnany. So 3 cars on the pit lane. We mentioned Dale Green's out of the car, so he started 5th. That has some championship implications, I think. But I don't think it does. I'm mistaken, but he had that 5th position, and he unfortunately had an early exit in this one. As Cardamone looked like he had a little bit of smoke in the tires up there in the S's. "23 laps on this stint of tires, as we saw. So the first car to kind of pit, Gargaro, we talked about him just a moment ago. He's on the pit lane. Medina, that early tower, he's going to stay out another 5 laps, I have to imagine. Going to be fast late in the race. He's going to have to be careful with that, though. We see the leader is coming to the pit lane. Get down to that speed limit. So Yatito, we'll see if he gets the chance to lead a lap or anything like that out here, and stays out under the Armor All bridge there. He's going to go ahead and pit as well. What does Sherburne do? He's heading right through the chase at the moment. Kind of a long pit stop for these cars, the fuel and the tires. Sherburne's gonna stay out. Maybe he'll get a chance to lead a lap. He'll have to stay out a couple laps to do that, though. Johnson also stays out. Cardamone's still on the pit lane. Same with Yatito, also pit. Cardamone's finally done with his pit stop. Chris Sherburne, our new leader here. We'll see if he actually gets to lead that lap, though. He might get nervous. Oh, yeah, he was a little wide, but totally missed his apex right there. He's under pressure from Daniel Johnson. Deloach also stayed out, so did Gomillion. So top 4 have stayed out. We're on lap 24. I don't know if they can get much further than this. As Sherburne really coming close to the walls here. You can see that tire marks on those walls. I have to imagine that Sherburne's going to go ahead and pit, unless he's been saving fuel. I don't know if he can make it 26 laps. We're on 24. They head into the chase. Hard braking zone. Johnson, he was right on him at one point in time on Sherburne on that Iwata car. He's going to hit the pit lane here. He does not. He stays out. So does Johnson. This is going to treat them, although they're going to be on the same strategy, Deloach and Johnson and Sherburne, actually. They're going to have fresher rubber and low fuel at the end of the race. So that should be interesting. So Cardamone's stop was a 43-second stop. Tires and fuel. We've got Deloach and Gamillion hitting the pit lane, those teammates there. They don't have to worry about double stacking the pit lane. They each have their own pit crew here. So Cardamone's going to go into third place. It's going to become the leader in a moment once Chris Sherburne and Daniel Johnson have to be coming up the pit here, as they're on the 25th lap of this stint. Got some pretty good curve there, heading through the S's. Some tire smoke up ahead. That's a lapped car ahead. Let's go on board with Sherburne. And more tire smoke up ahead. So, one thing I'm also looking at, Medina is in 11th. He's moved up to 11th. That was our early leader of the race with a great start before he had that big mistake in the S's. Chris Sherburne as he navigates through the chase. And he'll be heading towards the pit lane here. Here he comes. So at least he knocks off the this little chicane into the pit lane here. Knocks off Cardamone from leading it all after he took the lead once again, our pole seater. He's going to come through Murray's corner and take the lead. And there he goes. That was a lapped car, so I thought for a moment it was Daniel Johnson done with his pit stop, but might have been Rob Powers? Yeah, so Powers, his last pit stop, okay, he's taken 2 pit stops. He's a lap down, obviously, but that last pit stop, he was only on 9.8 seconds in the pits, so, or like in his stop. So I don't know what he did, but it was a very short stop. Just fuel? I'm not sure. I really, oh, as he smacks that wall, some sparks flew there. Yeah, that right front, or the right door of the car, really not as healthy as it used to be. So now that everybody's done their pit stops, we'll go through the field at some point here, as we're let's see, almost a third through this race. We're on lap 26 of 81. We've been running for an hour at this point. Fanatic Racing Car, Rob Powers. Club Indiana, hey there, Rob. So Cardamone's going to have fresh tires. The track temperature, probably at its highest temperature. We had over 120 degree track temperature earlier on. So after those rounds of pit stops, we had some cars coming into the pit lane. They were pretty close to one another, but they sort of spread out a little bit. Medino's actually made it up to 4th, but he's going to have to pit here in the next 3 or 4 laps. And he's going to have cars behind him that are on quite a bit fresher tires. Like Sherborne here in 5th. Quite a bit better tires for him. So Cardamone here, although he's dominating this race so far, he is not in the top 20 in points in this particular series. I don't know if he hasn't run all the races or not. I don't know if they have drop races either, so questions we will get answered for us at some point in time. Yatito in 2nd place, 26 seconds back from Cardamone. So Yatito 5th in points. He's actually back a race. He missed a race somewhere in there. He did win a race so far this year. Looking through the field if there's any tight battles. Not exactly a tight battle, but that was Cardamone, I believe, going around one of our lapped cars, the 20, Matt Gelder here. I believe this might be his first race. Nah, I'm not sure if that's his first race, but he started 25th, he's running 25th. Runs for Unorthodox Horizon team. There are a couple of cars that run for that team in this race. The other one was George Angus. There we go, we got an answer there. Ron McPherson letting us know they get 1 road drop and 1 oval drop. Hello to Ron McPherson out there. Hope you're enjoying the show. Apologies that we don't know how many laps there are, but yeah, we're on lap 28 of 81. We'll get our overlay fixed for next week. As we see Gelder here, his car doesn't look too healthy, but let's get up. We were watching Ernie Ludwig here so earlier in the race. So Nathan Medina did end up stopping. He's coming out of the pits. He's in has fresh tires, but he is he's putting on laps that are very comparative to the leader of the race, and he has maintained. He hasn't gone a lap down. At least this is my current information. He's a minute 44 back, so I'm not sure exactly where that happened. But, because I could have sworn he had to tow, and that would have set him back a couple minutes. He's just making really fast laps. Him and Cardamone, the only cars that are in the 207s in this race. But Medina has to keep it on the road here. Keep that Ford Mustang on the road, that all-black car. Well, thanks for sticking around to watch the show here tonight, there, Ron. We'll see you back at Fontana, hopefully. I would imagine we're going to have 30 cars there, I would hope. We'll have another member in the booth that week. We've got... I'm a big IndyCar guy myself, but I've got another commentator here at Raceverse who's also a big-time IndyCar nostalgic kind of guy, so he knows just about everything about IndyCar, and we're going to be running that Fontana race, broadcasting that. We're looking forward to that one. Oh, we had Ernie there, getting it a little hot into the quarry. And that was Joey Haynes ahead of him, also getting it, locking up that right front tire. That is not something you want to do. This is early in the stint now, and you're going to have to run around with that that wear for the next 15 to 18 laps. They head through the grate. They're all avoiding that grate. I have to imagine that has a pretty good sized bump that you do not want to upset the car with. Joey Haynes here, this is a big mover right here. He started 22nd, and he's running 9th. Really good move. So what team, let me see if I can figure out, what team does he run for? He runs also for Unorthodox Eclipse. So I mentioned Matt Gelder. Obviously the livery is the same as Gelder's car back there. And George Angus. So let's see, where is George running here? George is running 19th, so he's dropped back a couple spots from where he started, a few spots from where he started in 15th. Cardamone's last lap. Okay, this is, for a moment it's told me that it was his fastest lap of the race, but he's got too much fuel to be flying down a hot lap like that. But up here, Medina is up to 10th now. He's got to keep this car together, though. He's already used that fast repair. He's in the slipstream of Joey Haynes up there. They're going to head into quarry. From what I can, whoa, that was Medina a little wide there, but it looked like he kept it off the wall. I thought he was heading right for that barrier there as they exited out of quarry. So speaking of joining these races, this is the Major Series. And so Ron McPherson out there, he's one of these members here. It gives sim racing enthusiasts an opportunity to race in the most prestigious and iconic motor races in the world via the iRacing simulator. We celebrate, honor, teach, and replicate many of the greatest traditions within the sport. Our series is like no other, real or a sim. So check that out at pacificmajors.com. You can join. I certainly knew about Majors Garage, but I never, as Medina is right on the bumper of Joey Haynes. I was then looking at the Majors Series on iRacing. It's like 2,000 members. I was like, oh, wow. But I don't know if I could do it. All the different cars you guys are running. Mark was telling me about the running like a Lotus 49. I don't think I can drive the Lotus 49. I have enough trouble with the Lotus 79. So I think we're gonna have a pass here up soon. Let's go on board with Nathan Medina here, our second place starter, early leader, as Joey Haynes goes wide out of Murray's corner. Nathan Medina is going to take over the 9th position. So that's the guy I'm keeping an eye on here, is Medina. There's still a lot of race left, so how far can he get up? He's a minute off of the podium. I don't know if that's doable, but can he get into, say, 5th or 6th? There's a lot that can happen. Brian Halleck's kind of spent this whole race around Covey, Deloach ahead of them. Deloach has kind of gapped out 19 seconds over Covey, though. Like, early on, you could throw a blanket over these cars, but Deloach just kind of checked out. Just driving a smart drive. From what I understand, he's one of the cleaner drivers in this series, so he's just keeping it together. You can see, does that car have any damage on it? I have to see the left front or left door. I don't see any. Let's have Robert take us for a lap here. We're gonna go through Hell Corner onto the mountain straight. As my papers go flying. Yeah, that's what Mark was saying. He said that the Lotus 49 was a really fun car to drive. Basically, like I then said, as we have Robert Deloach go through Quarry, I said it's basically, it sounds like it's a Skip Barber with 500 horsepower and a nicer sounding engine, is what he said. We head up the mountain now. Through Reed Park, Frog Hollow, Solomon Park. Basically, we started up the mountain from turn 4 on to about turn 10 by now, and then we're going to be heading into the S's in a moment. Through Skyline. It's the top of the mountain right there, and now we're downhill. Might have a couple spots that go uphill, but we topped it out there. We are on lap 33 of 81. Deloach is going to take us through the chase, hard braking point. We're having a Holden out here, as I mentioned earlier, so first 2 cars are running Holdens. Then Deloach, so 3rd through 5th are all running Mustangs. Then we've got 7th through 9th running Mustangs, and 10th, Joey Haynes running in a Holden. So I was just changing over to McSparron here because he is within a second of Paulison up here as they head through the Conrad Strait. So from, as I switch over to Ludwig and I threw the camera, as the camera went on him, he made that mistake. I hope I didn't do that. I hope he's not watching the stream. As he's coming under pressure. Well, that's not for position who's behind him. George Ank is one of these other unorthodox cars. He's a couple seconds back from Ernie. So, who is that that's going by? Is that, not sure who that was. But yeah, McSparren right on Paulison here, right on his not quite on his bumper, but they're heading through the S's. So Medina in 9th. He's about 20 seconds back from Halleck, but based on the laps that he's done through this race, in another 10 laps or so, he might actually be caught up to him. As we head through lap 34, so the leader coming up to traffic here. See if these cars, these lapped cars are going to cooperate. So far, so good. But even if they cooperated, it still can be tricky, because it can set you off the kind of the momentum that you have in the race, and just suddenly you encounter a lapped car and throw you off of your game. As Cardamone gets onto those curbs probably a little bit more. This is what I mentioned. Just throws him off his game a little bit. Let's go on board with Cardamone here, our leader of the race here. That's McSparren up ahead of him. He gives way as they head down the mountain straight. Another lap car ahead. He navigates through quarry. You can hear those tires sliding. So Medina, oh, did he just bounce off that wall? I was looking down and then I saw that he looked like he bounced off that wall a little bit. Mr. Excitement out here, Medina. Team Dynasty. All things considered, he has to be happy that he's made it back to the top 10, but I think he wants more. Cardamone's last lap was a 2:08, so he's starting to put down some flyers. He's progressed past these. He really went wide on that corner. He had the tires in the grass there as he heading through Murray's corner out of the chase. That's where it was. But yeah, he's made it through that 5 or 6 car pack of lappers, and he made it through there unscathed. So he's got to be pretty happy about that. So this is McSparren and Paulison. That's who a couple of those lappers were, and they're still battling. They're within a half a second of one another. McSparren, he's not even looking, I don't think. He's just waiting for Paulison to make a mistake. McSparren started 13th. He hasn't made any up. Okay, he's actually 12th. Sorry, I thought it said 13th. Actually, it's flipping out on us a little bit. So yeah, we're gonna have to look at some of these issues here. Maybe this is a good time for me to double check here. Sorry, Shane. There we are on lap 36 of 81. I apologize that my overlay. As it comes down to the end of the race, it's going to tell us the laps, but right now, it is not telling us the laps. I apologize about that, and we will get that corrected. for the Fontana race. Obviously, we want lap numbers at Fontana, so we'll get that ready. So yeah, momentarily I was going to check something on my end, so I'll be right back. And we are back. So I'm trying to figure out why my overlay is giving us some bad information from time to time, so I'm working on that a little bit. We'll see if what I did helps in any way. So in the last few laps, Cardamone has pulled that lead. Now at about 30 seconds over Yatito. Holden's in the top 2 positions in this race. Another 20 seconds back to Johnson. Johnson and Sherburne. So Sherburne had gotten around Johnson early on, but after that series of pit stops, Johnson has pulled away. Gregaro is another 6 seconds back from Sherburne. DeLoach started 6th, running 6th. He's 20 seconds back from Gregaro here, so we're just kind of really spread out at this point. Robert Covey, they had a good battle there between DeLoach and Covey early on. Halleck's not far behind him in 8th. Nathan Medina are well, he's a big mover, not from where he started, but from where he was. He was in that 25th position early on. And again, we are on lap 37 of 81, so we're coming up to halfway here. So what I can show you is, if I show you this, it shows we have an hour and 34 minutes. It says 34 minutes, but it means an hour and 34 minutes, and that's why I'm not showing that, because I don't want to confuse anybody with... it's supposed to be showing laps there. We'll get that fixed. I can't fix it right now, unfortunately. So as we watch Nathan Medina go around the track, we'll talk a little bit about Majors Garage. Major Series, and then there's Majors Garage, where if you're like running any of the official series in iRacing, you won't need a setup. So at Majors Garage, you can find free current setups for over 40 vehicles. These are built by over 20 pro-level experts who build these setups, and it's majorsgarage.com, majorsgarage.com. You can look in the description of the video and check them out. Of course, make sure to hit like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel here. I appreciate everybody watching. I know there's the other, the GSRC race where the pro guys are going. That probably has a few more viewers than this one, but I'm glad that they decided to broadcast these and have Race First do it. Medina's, you can see him getting a little bit sideways coming out of the chase. He's not messing about. That last lap was a 2:10 for him though, so he is running. Well, that one, as he crosses the start finish, that was a 2:09. But Cardamone here running 2:08s. Let me show you best laps of the race here. So this one's slightly incorrect. Cardamone, that says 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Yatito, that's his best lap, is over a second off of Cardamone. Medina was also in the 2:07s, but he set that one very early on before you had that mistake. I even have, these are mile per hour of the best lap. The best lap mile per hour, so 107 miles per hour average. So Gamillion here in 11th has caught up to Joey Haynes. I'll change over to intervals here so you can see all the intervals between everybody. Maybe somebody can spot an interesting battle out here. If anybody wants to see a car going around the track, you can let me know out there in the comments. And Joey Haynes just locked it up ever so slightly into the S's there. Or that was actually that Griffin's Bend. Keep having to double check my lap. A Forest Elbow, the Dipper is what that would have been. That would have been the last corner of the mountain onto the Conrad Straight. We'll be getting our next round of pit stops probably in the next 10 laps. And let me throw up a chat here. So we are on... Oh, as we have Joey Haynes goes wide at Murray's Corner, just too much pressure from Gomillion there, and Gomillion's going to go around. That's what you have to do to make a pass around here, is you force that guy into a mistake. Joey Haynes, so he's a big mover though. Starting 22nd, he was up to 10th. At one point I think he was 8th or 9th. A really good run for him. That appears to be the leader, is it? That is the leader coming up to this couple here, so we'll see how that interferes with their race. Last lap for the leader was a 2:10, so he's, I don't know if he made a mistake or it's just gonna start to calm down a little bit. He's 30 seconds ahead of second place. Let's watch the leader try to get around these cars as they head through the S's. That was Gamillion throwing up some burnt tire into the air up there as they're now downhill. Cardamone gets around, gets a little bit in the grass there as he goes around Joey Haynes, and Gamillion is really gapping from Joey Haynes up there. He's already put up 2 seconds. Of course, that's with Cardamone going around. And Cardamone's going to take us through the chase. Best car in the field. Hard braking through Murray's Corner for the leader. And he is going to complete lap 41, so we are halfway through the race. Cardamone's looking like he's probably about 7 laps from his pit stop. As He goes inside of Gamillion in the chase. Who's going to be an interesting one is Medina. Is probably about another 15 seconds up the lap, or up the track. That'll be an interesting car getting lapped there when that happens. So Gregaro here is catching Sherburne. Ahead of Sherburne is Johnson, about 3 seconds ahead of Sherburne, but I think Gregario here has kind of been catching Sherburne for the better part of the last 10 or so laps. Paulison. So McSparren got around Paulison, or was it Ludwig? So Ernie Ludwig was back there on working on Paulison, but no longer, as I think, I don't know who that is, but it's got to be is that Yetito, as Ludwig gets some little bit of fishtail coming out of the S's there. He's gonna slipstream him. Ernie won't put up a fight. A lot of gentlemanly driving out here, I have to say. Even so, like even Medina, he had spun that car up at the top of the mountain. If I was in that case, I don't know if I would have reset the car. I would have tried and probably caused a gigantic pileup. As Ludwig hits the pits. This is a little early. It's actually the first car that's gonna head into the pits here. Actually, Halleck ahead has just come out, and Angus has hit the pits as well. So they're just looking at they're gonna split this strategy. Actually, Angus, that's not true. He's 17 laps in this, and he has not pit. So, but Ludwig though, he's just gonna cut this race into quarters. That's what he's doing. As Cardamone gets around more lappers, that's really not the place you want to be catching lappers, but you know, you don't choose where you get to catch them. So I'll just remove some of the data there for a second because it's kind of going all over the place. Anderson here is working on McSparren. I don't think we've looked at Anderson at all today because I haven't noticed that 711 Citgo car. As McSparren hits the pit lane. Alex dropped back a few spots as I saw, I don't know who that was, it might have been a lap car. Somebody went wide at Murray's corner back there. You can see him on the left of the screen. Looked like a Forge car. It was a Forge car, but then Yetito got around him. Not for position, that was the lapper. Through the quarry. So at this point in this race, I would think that we're probably have hit the maximum temperature in the day, and the temperatures should start to fall. We were over 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Really brutal temperatures for the tires. So back to 8th place. Cardamone has lapped the field. He took some curb there at Murray's Corner. He's been driving around with that left door, has been had damage since probably about the 3rd lap of the race, I would estimate. So Matt Gelder currently running, he's 8 laps down. He's running about like 2-minute 15 laps, but if I'm reading this correctly, he's the last of our running cars. After we go through the next round of pit stops, I'll do a reset and go through the entire field for everybody. Again, if anybody wants to highlight a particular car, just let me know in the chat. If anybody you want to have an onboard with, or you know, just to have the camera focus on them, because we're kind of watching the leader go circle around the track. And again, I apologize about, occasionally it ticks you, I mean, it's not occasionally, it's constantly. Basically, some cars are kind of going out of my focus of the overlay, and when that happens, it'll tell you that they're in the pits. So that is what you're seeing, like when Johnson right now, he's not in the pits. He's basically off of my data. That Kinetic Racing car. That car is really clean. Like extremely clean. We're 40 on lap 45 of this race. So Yatito has hit the pits, so that's why he's back to 5th and Johnson's in 2nd. So Medina is going to go... He can go another 5 laps compared to everybody else. He's only on the 16th lap of his stint. So he might... Whoa, as I see Cardamone. He's got these old tires. They're old and they're greasy. And he just was catching it. He's only running about 2 minutes. So previously, at the end of his stint, he was the fastest. He was running like 208s, but this track is probably at its hottest point right now, and it's going to be coming down from here. But this track is greasy. It's got rubber, and when you're 21 laps on your stint, you know, that right front is taking a lot of pain. Oh, I don't know what that was. I heard some crunching metal. So Gregaro, Johnson has pit. Sherburne and Gregaro have not pit, but Johnson and Yatito. Johnson has hit the pit right now in that Kinetic Racing machine. haven't really used much of these static cameras throughout this race because these are actually some of my favorite as we see Cardamone go by. Or actually that was Cardamone's teammate because Cardamone's coming out of Murray's corner. An excellent sense of speed with static cameras like this. So Deloach still, it's going to be a very tight race for him points-wise with Johnson. So Johnson's second in the points, Deloach is in third. Halleck is in fourth. Halleck's back here in 11th, so this isn't good. He's going to drop back from Deloach and Johnson if everything stays how it is. I'd have to say, so race control in this race, I don't really think they have very much to do. I think everybody's been extremely clean, so they've had an easy job today. Cardamone's coming up on one of those kinetic racing cars. Oh, I have a little slow car there. So through this, well, this is because some cars have not pit. So for instance, Johnson here is back to 7th. He was in 3rd. So once these cars cycle through, he should be back in 3rd. He just moved up one spot, 6th, because it looked like Covey had hit the pit lane. Gonna be a long pit stop for Covey here. Everybody's running about anywhere from a 37-second pit stop to a 45-second pit stop. Cardamone hits the pit lane. So we're on lap 47 of 81. He's gonna have to pit in another, let's say 23 laps, so that would set us to lap 70, and then he's going to have a dash of only about 11 laps to the end from there. Sherburne and that Iwata car. Ford Mustang. He's going to come out, so right with the leader here, but I don't know if he'll even challenge for the lead, because he's going to be pitting here in a couple laps too. But that's how far he's back. Cardamone was on the pit lane for a minute 5, and Sherburne caught up to him, just caught up to him, so he's a minute 5 back. Let's see if we've got Paulison, and I think that battle's kind of gone away. We had a battle with Paulison. I don't recall who that was. Kind of a cool livery there with Paulison. Section 8. He's 7th in points. 2 top 5s. Doesn't have any wins. Going back to wins is Johnson. He's 2nd in points. He has no wins, but everybody else in the top 6 have a win in this series. So unfortunately, Sherburne here. It's like, oh, he's brought it down to a second battle for the lead, but unfortunately he has to pit. So he heads down the Conrad Straight. He's actually got several more laps that he could stick it out here. If he so chooses. He's gonna stay out. He's actually staying right on Cardamone, because Cardamone's got a heavy car, lots of fuel in that car. Sherburne actually faster than him because he's low fuel. Kind of wish that we had opposites here and Sherburne had gotten around him. And Cardamone, what we would have seen what he decided to do with that particular problem there. Would he have had the patience to know that Sherburne is just going to pit? I think he probably would have, but it would have been interesting to see. So if you're liking what you're seeing out here, maybe you want to join the Major Series. It gives sim racing enthusiasts the opportunity to race in some of the most prestigious and iconic motor races in the world via the iRacing simulator. They celebrate and honor and teach and replicate many of the great traditions of the sport. Our series is like no other, and real or sim. So they run all different kinds of cars. So they'll run GT3 cars at Daytona. They'll run Lotus 49s. They'll run, I don't know if they ran any Lotus 79s, but they'll run Silver Crowns. They'll run on dirt. They'll run Indy cars. We're going to be heading to Fontana in 2 weeks' time on November 1st. And I have to say, that one I am really looking forward to calling here. I don't know if you guys heard my early broadcast, so I'm a big IndyCar guy. I'm from Indianapolis originally. I run in the iRacing official series in the IndyCars. I run, I'm a member of Lionheart. Not in the IndyCars there, but I've just got called up for the Retro series there and running the Lotus 79. It's a bit of a fish out of water experience, though, having not really driven them much competitively. But that's my story. Been sim racing for a very long time. Very cool. Yeah, the Lotus 79, it has the upgraded tire model, and it's pretty amazing. Not that I'm any good at it, but it's pretty fun to drive. So Sherburne's still out here. He can go at most probably another 2 laps on this stint, and Cardamone's tires are up to temperature now, and his last lap was about a half second faster than Cardamone. Or sorry, faster than Sherburne. So good battle here between McSparren and Joey Haynes. Let's go on board with, let's do a little right front suspension. And yeah, for Fontana, whoa, he got really too close to that wall. So for Fontana, we're hoping to have 2 broadcasters in the booth for that one. 2 kind of IndyCar experts. Should be a pretty good race. They navigate through the S's. So Haynes has kind of been dropping back from his early progress in this race as somebody up ahead lays down some tire smoke, blocking up his It might have been Anderson up ahead. As Sherburne is now in the pit lane. A couple other cars in the pit lane as well. One of those sit-go cars. So we'll see. Sherburne was in the top 5. We'll see where he comes out in the end here. Medina is going to have to pit in another 3 or 4 laps. He has moved up to 5th now, though. I think through the last cycle of pit stops, he had gotten up to, about 9th, maybe 8th. He's working on it. But that car, we'll see if it can last for the rest of the race. Is this guy unsponsored? He needs a team. Just running that all-black Ford Mustang. Actually, let me double check. He does have a team, Team Dynasty. Maybe is that his own team, or is there anybody else out here running Team Dynasty? We've got several independent drivers, but yeah, from what I see, he's the only one running for Team Dynasty. I don't know if he's our only driver or what. He's moved up to 4th here. All right, it's a little slow. That one of the kinetic cars. Oh, that not the best place to lap somebody up here at the top of the mountain. But he made it work. So Paulison and Medina here are the only cars that kind of need to get through their pit stops here, and we're on lap 50 of 81. Let me just note that in the chat since we have that issue here. Oh, I heard that car back there have a little bit of wall. Was that, I don't think it was Ludwig. It was Anderson once again. He is missing a rear wing. That's not gonna work out too well. This car might be faster on the straightaway, but I wouldn't want to hit the brake. Let's see here. He had just pit, and so he had an issue. I think we're gonna have time for a replay here. He's gonna stay out. Does he know that rear wing is missing? Let's see if we can figure out what happened to him. It seems to be running okay. Okay, he used to have or that switched to another car. So I guess either this is not showing correct information, but he pit and he still doesn't have a rear wing. Okay. Well, keep a note on that one. He's doing particularly an excellent job without having a rear wing. So Medina is still out here. He's moved up to 4th. And our early leader through that kind of a great battle. And if you're just joining us here, up at the top of the mountain, just after the S's, he looped it. His car wasn't too damaged, but he kind of did the gentlemanly thing and just towed the car. Like, rather than creating a gigantic pileup right about here, he just towed it right there, and the car, went to the garage. So I don't know if he used a fast repair, but I would imagine he did. Maybe he still has one. As we are just under 30 laps to go. If this race went to time, we're about an hour and 4 minutes left in the race, but I don't think it will. Whoa, that car was a little slow there, that 350 car. Who was that? That was Greg McEnany, as Nathan Medina hits the pit lane. It's gonna get slowed up. I think that was... well, I can't tell. Number 89. Joey Haynes. Looks like he missed his pit stall a little bit there. Been there, done that many times. So we'll see where Medina comes out. This is going to be a long pit stop for him. But he's going to be in a pretty good situation for having a short pit stop at the very end of this thing. Once we get Medina out of the pits, we're going to go through the field, figure out where everybody's at. Deloach is the last car on the lead lap, but let's see where Medina, he's going to come out in 8th, it looks like. Covey, let's see here. Here comes Medina's. Medina's going to come out in 8th. So he's progressing ever so slightly. How far can he get up there, though? That is the question. I think he's about a minute back. I think he can get up to 6th. Might have a battle brewing here with Deloach and Halleck. Gonna have those cold tires as he goes into quarry here. So everybody's pit. So let's do it through the field. As I promised earlier, we're on lap 53 of 81, 28 laps to go. Cardamone's dominating this one. Chris Yatito and the 888 teammate ahead of him. That is the 598. That is Zachary Brown ahead of him. But anyway, Chris Yatito in 2nd place. Daniel B. Johnson, we were talking about him earlier, Kinetic Racing America car. He has not won a race, but he's 2nd in points, or is he 3rd in points? He's 2nd in points. Has not won a race. This guy, really consistent. Sherborne came out in 4th. He's another 11 seconds back, but David Gargaro here is in 5th, and he's only about a 1.5 back from Sherborne, so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. But now back to 6th place. Halleck is 42 seconds behind Gargaro there. Robert Deloach, another 1.5, so a good battle developing. These are teammates though, so I think it'll be wiser. Kind of take the points. Another 10 seconds back, it will be Medina here, and we'll see. Unless this car is too damaged and just going to be a little slow, we'll see what happens. Maurice Gamillion, another Forge Gold driver. Is it Forge Gold or is it Forge Silver? It is Forge. Well, you know what? It's saying he's independent, but he might have just got hired by Forge Gold here, or Forge Silver, whichever one he's on. I would assume that it's... I don't have to look at those liveries between the two. Robert Covey running around in 10th. Jason McSparron, we've watched a lot of him during this race. Some good battles between him and Paulson. So he's in 11th. Another 4 seconds from Paulson. Ernie Ludwig, we watched him, another teammate, that Kinetic Racing car, in 13th. David Anderson. So he's running around without that rear wing. You can see the trunk in that car. Has he got anything back there? Some illegal device that makes his car seem to be running just fine without a rear wing? His last lap was 2 minutes 12. That's only a couple seconds off the leader, so apparently you don't need the rear wing here. George Angus back here in 15th. Mark Stevenson gave me some bad information on what I might call George Angus here, but luckily I haven't fallen for it. Very cool there. So, Gamillion, currently independent, but he will be joining Forge in the next season. Rob Powers in the Kinetic car here. George Angus ahead of him. So, wait, okay, for a second I saw Deloach been 17th. Gerard Gilbert, other Kinetic racing car. We got a lot of team cars out here tonight. Guess you gotta get a team, gotta get a setup. And these cars. Most of these cars kind of drive around on their own at this point. Timothy Klaus here. Started 23rd. He is another one of our independent drivers. Greg McEnany, another Forge car. Whoa, you just saw those cars blink in and blink out. He's running around in 19th. Dominic Warwick. So he was our slowest qualifier, at least that started the race, but he's up to 20th. It's kind of he's 3 laps down. And we have Daniel Davis, another Forge car, in 21st. Zachary Brown, another Forge car, in 22nd. I have to imagine. Actually, no, wait. This is a Forge Silver car. So somebody have to tell me what the difference in these liveries are, because I'm not seeing it. Like between a Forge Silver and a Forge Gold, I don't think there is a difference. So I thought maybe there was a gold trim on the golds and silver on the silver, but I'm not seeing it. Joey Haynes, apparently he had moved up like about 10 spots, but he's sitting on the pit lane here, and he's been here for a long time, so possibly calling it a day. Rob Courtney back in 24th, still circulating around. Matt Gelder also circulating around. And Dale Green actually in 26th, so I think we might have said that he was out at some point in the race. He's 16 laps down. His car looks completely fine. Maybe just took a break at some point in time. Maybe he had to go eat dinner or something like that. Yeah, that's what I figured with those Forge cars. They all look about the same to me, so easy to spot. Makes it difficult. How many of them are there out here? We've got, let's see. I'm looking at the entry list for this race. Well, there's 2. We've got like 5 or 6. We've got maybe 3 silvers and 3 golds, or could it be even 4 golds? And then we've got all those Kinetic cars too. Quite a few of those. Yeah, the Orthodox cars as well. You guys aren't making it easy for me. But I'll learn. Well, it's not gonna. You have to remember, we're not gonna be running supercars, right? So each week, you know, they'll probably be similar, but that's gonna be a task. Yeah, I hope to be broadcasting for you guys next season too. So that was our through the field. We have 26 cars running in this race. Only car out of the race is Jeremy Tester. Independent driver, started 24th. Unfortunately going to finish 27th. One of our best battles on the track here is between Gargaro and Sherburne. Sherburne in that white and yellow car ahead. Both in Mustangs. Appreciate the help from the viewers out there. We have just completed lap 56. So we are 25 laps to go. We've got one more pit stop in this race. Let me see what, so my thing up here, it's going to tell you we have 53 minutes left in the race, but that is incorrect, so that's why I'm hiding that, to not have any confusion. It needs to be showing that we're on lap 56 of 81. We'll get that corrected for next race. It's a little bit of teething issues here with the overlay for tonight's race. So, Jeff Cardamone leads. Started first, went back to about third place in those first 5 laps before, I think Yatito, so he actually, so off the line, he had a bad start, a bad getaway, and Yatito and Medina got around him. And obviously Medina made that mistake at the top of the hill, or top of the mountain. Yatito, after that, Cardamone was able to get past Yatito and took over. And although Sherburne has led a lap or two here and there through cycling pit stops, Cardamone is 38 seconds ahead of second place. Yeah, will do, John. Obviously, this week I was thrown into the fire for this particular series, so we were up for the challenge, though. I think that Fontana is a little bit like you're getting thrown into the fire in the 13th round of a series, and the first race that you're doing is the Bathurst 500. So I did a lot of research, but there's never enough time to do enough research getting into a series. I don't have that knowledge of the last 12 races that, you know, if I had covered the entire series, I would have known all of this kind of stuff. So, you know, next season, hopefully that will be the case. But at least going into Fontana, kind of home field advantage for myself and the Indy cars. And we'll have Gary up in the booth too. Gary's a big-time IndyCar fan, as Chris goes around. One of the lap cars? Not sure who that was. Another lap car looking in, getting out of the way as they go through McMurray. Or Murray's Corner. I think I've been calling it McMurray's Corner sometimes. Yeah, I mean, just the point system looks really complex here in majors. I'm used to the, 25 points for a win or 50 points for a win. I can see we've had 12 races and leaders. Mark has 2,200 points, so getting some good points there. Looking around for other battles out here. Few and far between at this point. Everybody's spread out. Yeah, when I saw Mike's email come in, I knew exactly who it was, because I know Major's Garage. So I was pretty excited to see that email come in when that happened. Yeah, there's quite a few splits. That's what one part I was having to understand when I got into this was, what is the Sportsman America division, right? So like I go down research and I figure out what it is. So that's Brian Halleck there. That car behind him is the leader. That's Cardamone. That is not for position, that is for the lead lap. Or actually, Yeah, that is for the lead lap. So he'll be the putting a lap on the 8th place car. So Medina has moved up to 7th. So yeah, Medina got around Halleck there, somewhere in there. I apologize for missing that one. I just realized something. So I sat in on that driver's meeting, and AC/DC played, right? It has to be an AC/DC. I'm bad with who does it, but AC/DC is Australian, right? So it perfect for this race. It took me 2 hours to realize this. So it's saying Johnson's in the pit, but he's not in the pit. In fact, he's in 3rd. But he is coming under pressure from Sherburne. He's like 3 seconds behind, and Gregaro is another 3 seconds back. I think that Sherburne has gapped slightly. Just slightly on back here. Okay, let's see what Deloach says, that he's only a half second back from Medina. Is that correct? That is correct. So this is a tight battle here. Actually, Medina has gotten into 6th, so let me see if I head back a little bit, if we can figure out what happened there. Yeah, here, so Medina's right on the back of Deloach. We're going to get a replay of a pass here, and then he's going to blink out. Unfortunately, we do not have that. We're going to get that figured out for next week, what our deal is on some of these. That's cool. I like that theme kind of thing here. So we'll have to see what happens for Auto Club. What are your guys' thoughts on what they're going to do to Auto Club in the future? The plans for NASCAR to make it a short oval of some sort, kind of a paper clip. I don't know, what was the banking on that course? Was it like 14 degrees, or were they trying to go even higher? I'm sure it's progressive banking. Certainly do not want that to happen. But it's probably an inevitable thing. At least iRacing scanned Auto Club before anything happened to it. So Medina's around Deloach there. Now he's gapped out 2 seconds from Deloach, so... Here's another battle, though. So Ludwig and Anderson. That's Anderson with no rear wing. Anybody want to have any thoughts on that car with no rear wing? Is that actually what I'm seeing, or does that matter? Like, am I seeing a bug here, or is this actually what I'm seeing here? And apparently you can run 2-minute 13 laps, or 2-minute 12 laps at Bathurst with no rear wing. Excellent driving by Anderson, if that's the case. I can see Ludwig back there is just kind of disappearing, just ever so slightly. I'm also looking ahead. So Medina, we were talking about him throughout this race. He's made it up to 6th, and I don't think he'll be progressing much further from there, because he is literally 56 seconds behind 5th place. Unless something has happened, we are at 20 laps to go in this race. 61 of 81. Whoa, I heard some damage. Some metal bending off some concrete there, and then I look back and I see Cardamom. Yeah, all these guys in the, like, say, the top 3 positions are making this look pretty easy, but I know it's not. A slightly slow car there, heading on to heading onto the straight there. Gets out of the way for the leader. Leader's running 209 laps, so a little bit slower than earlier, and he's about 10 laps from his final pit stop, so he's going to have a 11 lap run to the end here. Oh, that was a slow car there, getting out of the way. Not sure who that was. I just have to guess. I think it was Daniel Davis. Closest battle is Gargaro and Sherburne there. So this overlay that I have is a custom built for a Raceverse here, and it certainly has some issues to be sorted out between this race and next race. We wanted to do everything custom here. Well, regardless of whether it's a bug or not, Anderson's making it look fun here with that no rear wing. It certainly does not look like a Mustang. So we head up the front. So first two cars in the field are Holdens. Third through sixth are Mustangs. Then a single Holden with Robert Deloach. Maurice Gamillion. Also, and then running a Mustang. So there's no team orders there at Forge on you have to run a Holden or you have to run a Mustang. Just checking my messages here, see if there's anything important that I need to know about in regards to this race. So unfortunately, Gargaro here was kind of closing in on Sherburne. We might have had a battle brewing. But he's now lost some time to Sherburne. And the same goes for Sherburne and Johnson in third place. Johnson is pulled out up to 5 seconds, what was only 2 to 3 seconds earlier. They head under the Armor All Bridge into Murray's Corner. Oh, that was... well, that wasn't Gargaro. That was one of the Forge cars there, getting it a little bit hot into Murray's Corner. Actually, at this point, I saw some cars on the pit lane there. If you pit now, so Gerard Gilbert in the pit lane, if you pit now, you can make it to the end of the race. So the window is open. Checking who else is out there in the pits. Timothy Klaus also out here in the pits as well. Gonna be getting fresh tires and the fuel to the end. Kinetic racing car of Daniel Johnson here. 069 car, started 4th, running 3rd. Not too much movement in the front. Amazing job that Nathan Medina, though, getting... he's made up... again, if you were not here early in the race, he had made a mistake. He went back to about 25th or 26th position. He's made it back up to 6th after starting 2nd, leading the first 3 or 4 laps before making that mistake. But he's now a lap down. Only the first 5 cars in the field are on the lead lap. These drivers are going to be tired after this race, regardless of what position they're running in. Their arms are going to be tired. Might have had to turn down the force feedback on this particular track when you're going to be running almost 3 hours. We're on, when Cardamone goes across the start-finish, he's going to be on lap 65, so we're on 64 at the moment. And really, at any point, as he gets a little fishtaily out of the corner there, he could make that pit stop at any moment. But, I mean, it doesn't even matter for him at this point, but what he would be looking for strategy-wise would be the shortest pit stop possible as he heads through the chase. Kind of cool rims on that car to matching what would be the livery if it wasn't all bent up. So Chris here, Yatito, I missed it slightly, but he hit the pit lane and he has fresh tires. So first car of kind of the lead pack, if you want to call it that, that has taken fresh tires. So he's good to the end. He'll be taking about 16 laps on this stint. Yeah, my longest race personally, and this, I had another driver, so we did a 6 hours at Road America. So I do like an hour-and-a-half stint, and then I was off for an hour, and then another hour-and-a-half stint, and my foot was certainly tired after that race, and that was with an hour-and-a-half break in between sessions. So I really can't imagine running 3 hours, especially at a circuit this challenging. I guess they had 3 weeks of practice, though, so they kind of worked their muscles into shape for this one. Daniel Johnson has hit the pit lane where he was running in 2nd, now in 4th, but he'll be coming out in 2nd once everything cycles through. I'm not sure how easy or difficult it is to hit that pit lane speed limit there. Nobody, as far as I can tell, has had an issue with it so far this race. Another one of those forge cars. Yeah, I don't think it'd be enough for me. It would be for this particular. I don't know. I don't drive the supercars. I don't drive stock cars even. So it would be a major experience for me to have to suddenly jump into. We have a gaggle of cars there as Johnson comes out of the pits. For me to get used to these cars, it would take months. And then to learn the track as well. That's the part that really intrigues me about this series is the drivers that are really good and at the front of the pack, they have to be good at all these different cars. Yeah, I'm kind of I'd say one-trick pony in that. I'm only like good at the Indy cars. Oh, we've got. Let's see if we can figure out who that was back there. I'm just gonna have to go through just about everybody. Oh, let's see. I'm like clicking everybody that is not the driver that was in that. Yeah, I don't know exactly who that was. Apologies for that, I couldn't tell. Could have been Gerard Gilbert here running in 15th, but let's try going back and see if we can figure out if it was him. I don't think it was. So there was one of the kinetic cars was in there and they were a little slow. So Cardamone is a minute 15 and the lead over Gargaro, but he still has to pit, so really it was... And actually, here's an interesting thing. So both Sherburne and Johnson have pit, and somehow through all of that, Sherburne has gotten around Johnson. Actually, I can see, so in pit lane, Sherburne he had a much shorter pit stop. So that's how he did it. I don't know if that is he's probably didn't take new tires. We'll have to watch how that works out for him. I would not want to be a driver that did not have fresh tires. So currently, Johnson is 12 seconds behind. Has fresher tires. I have to imagine anyway. That's got to be the difference between pit stops. So Chris was 42 seconds on pit lane. Johnson was 56 seconds on pit lane, so that's how he got around him. I'm glad we were able to explain it in some meaningful way, as Gargaro has hit the pit lane as well. I'll have to see if he decides to take tires or not. This is short. Another thing could be that maybe Johnson took too much fuel during his stop. I don't know what the difference there would be, like on why there would be such a big 15-second gap between the two drivers on the pit lane. So Gargaro here is also going to have a relatively short pit stop compared to... So that is Johnson behind Gargaro. So again, Johnson has been gapped by pit stops. That second kinetic car that lets Johnson go so Gargaro and Sherburne, 42 seconds for Sherburne on the pit lane, 45 for Gargaro, and then Johnson's at 56 seconds on the pit lane, so... And now he's getting caught up in traffic here. One of those unorthodox cars getting in the way there. Deloach runs in 7th. He is 3 seconds behind Medina. Both Deloach and Medina still need a pit. Chameleon also needs to pit as well. Cardamone, our leader in the race, also needs to pit. So we're on lap 68 of 81. Would it be 10 seconds difference for that little bit of fuel, though? Like, they were only three laps different in their pits. Sherburne... Actually, Sherburne and Johnson pit on the same lap, but Gargaro pit 2 laps later. I can actually show this here. Well, yeah, pit stop. No, it's... I don't have my stints. I'm going to add that to this. It's easy enough. This is how many pit stops people have done. I thought I could show how many stints they had on how many laps they had on the tires for the stint. We'll get that added because that's important. So only 5 cars on the lead lap, and Gargaro for 2 or 3 laps. That seems like a lot for for 10 seconds, but who knows? I'm used to 8-second pit stops in an IndyCar. And that's for fuel and tires. When we ran in that endurance race that I mentioned, we had about like a minute pit stops too, so... No forced fuel into the car. Just gravity fed. So Cardamone, our leader, still needs to pit, as he's his last lap was actually a 2:12, so one of his slowest laps of the race, really. Working on all these lapped cars. So we'll see when going back to pits. He's gonna have a really short pit stop compared to everybody, and not that any, like he's gonna be even further ahead because of it. He did the strategy just right. As he ducks into the pit lane. As he crosses the start-finish line on this pit lane, he's going to be taking us to lap 70. He's going to come out in the lead, too. Let's head back. Fairbairn's gonna get on the podium here if he can hold this up. So that was only a 10-second stop for Cardamone there. If my data is correct, anyway. 50 seconds on pit lane, 10 seconds stop. I don't know if that's correct or not. Yeah, I don't think that. I think because we cut away, and the car cycled out of the network, it's some bad information. So let's go through the field. We're about 10 laps from the end. We're on lap 70. Let me wait for lap 71 when Cardamone goes over the start-finish line. Let me go on board with him. go in the car with him. Taps that wall, I heard that. Jeff Cardamon, that's the name that is going to go down in the books here in the Major Series at the for the Pro Series Sportsman. Not the Pro Series, apologies. Sportsman division. But he still has to bring it home another 10 laps. Comes out of Murray's corner. He only has another 10 navigation runs through Hell Corner as he completes lap 71. So let's go through the field one last time. Get some camera time on everybody out here. So Jeff Cardamone, he's led about 60 laps so far tonight. Back 50 seconds. He's actually gained some time from what he had earlier. Chris Yatito, so he's coming through Murray's corner. Kind of one of the setup experts there at the Forge team. And we have Chris Sherburne in third, so he had some excellent pit strategy to put himself back into third after Johnson had been kind of running around in third for most of the race. David Gargaro started ninth, he's up to fourth. Back Johnson, we mentioned earlier, steady running tonight. Started fourth, but currently running in fifth, Kinetic Racing car. Nathan Medina, he's another 20 seconds back. So actually he's gapped into that, but it's going to be a little bit too late. 20 seconds, 10 laps. I guess it's doable if he puts down qualifying laps, but that lap traffic ahead of him is not going to help. Robert Deloach, another Forge car, is running in seventh. This is the last car on the lead lap. Back to Maurice Gamillion, another Forge car in the 8th position. Brian Halleck, another Forge car in the 9th position. He's 35 seconds back from Maurice there. Steve Paulison, another 30 seconds back from Brian there. He's running in 10th place. David Anderson, our car that's driving around with no rear wing. We think that's a bug for us and not actually correct. Running around in the 11th position because he's doing pretty competitive laps. Robert Covey, running around in 12th. George Angus in 13th. So from 8th to 13th, one lap down. We're going to be heading to Ernie Ludwig here. First car, he's moved up 7 spots from the 21st starting position. Good run for him. The right side of that car does not look healthy, but it's only got another like 9 laps to go, so you can probably do it. Gerard Gilbert in 15th, another Kinetic car. A lot of Kinetic cars out here. Started 15th, running 15th, so steady running for him, 2 laps down. Timothy Klaus is 3 laps down, started 23rd, but he's moved up to 16th. George McEnany, Forge car out here, started 18th, running 17th, also 3 laps down. Daniel Davis, another Forge car, running 18th. Dominic Warwick, Forge car, but he's one of our bigger movers in the race here. That car got a little bit damaged as he goes wide. Out of the chase, heads through Murray's corner. Moved up from the 27th position to 19th, so he's got to be pretty happy about that. Rob Courtney moving from 26th to 20th. Is that a teammate of... that is a teammate of Jeff Cardamone. Is that the only teammate that's out here? So started 26th and running in 20th. Zachary Brown, some bad luck here tonight. He's started 8th, he's running 21st. another one of the Forge cars. And we had, it was John King, I think it said, that he's going to explain to me how these teams work. But I have to imagine that there's going to be team points, and something like the top 2 drivers who finish in a team are going to be the ones that score for the team. I don't know that, but that's, if I was making the series, that's how I would do it. So, Joey Haynes running in 22nd. Started 22nd. Jason McSparron. So, he's sort of dropped back. He was running almost in the top 10 early on in the race, running in 23rd, started 13th, so you could tell that car's had some battle damage through this race. That right side car, and I can even tell like the front end not looking too healthy. Rob Powers, Club Indiana. He's running in 24th, if I can get him up on the screen, but apparently it's not going to cooperate. Matt Gelder started 25th, running in 25th as well. He is on pit lane. He might have called a day. Yes, he has. Dale Green. So Dale Green is going to go on at that exact moment. He has made up past Matt Gelder, who was 16 laps down. Dale Green's also 16 laps down. So, yeah. So he made up a position. I don't know where he went down 16 laps, but early on he parked it for a while, then he came back out at some point in time and actually had a pretty clean car. Back to Cardamone, 48 seconds ahead of P2. Looking at if there's any intervals coming down, but pretty spread out at the moment. Really good job by Cardamone, though. He's had that damage on this car for the entire race, but it has not affected him. We'll have to ask him about that and just ask him about how that start went. Okay, there you go. Best 3 from 5 from the team. Makes a lot of sense, I'd say. So momentarily, we're going to get an actual lap count here. We're currently 17 minutes left that we can run in this race, but we might even come up against time here, but it's going to be really, really close. Cardamone's last lap was a 2:08, so he's still running around really fast. As we know, he had a really short stint here, so he might try to lay down a flyer. And the time of day, we can see the shadows are starting to come across the track, so the track should be cooling from the heat of the day from about maybe an hour ago. And yeah, this officially is my longest broadcast, I can tell you that. I did an Indianapolis race. Well, there were 2 I can talk about. We had a Richmond race that had 19 cautions, and that almost went to the time for the race. And then we had another Indianapolis race. It was going to be like 120 laps, and it went for about 2.5 hours because it had quite a few cautions, so I had to broadcast that one. No cautions here, though, just pure racing. Any longer than this, I'd say I'd need a partner up here in the booth. And we'll have one at Fontana on that race. So I don't know how many laps Fontana's going to be, but I don't know if we're running like 100 lap races, like half length. I'd just run the 200. Do the full thing. Six laps to go here, so we're on lap 75 of 81. We'll make note of that. That's Cardamone laps. That is Anderson in the 12th position. Mr. No Rear Wing. Wish we got him for an interview after the race. He'll be like, I had a rear wing. My car had a rear wing. It's just bugged out on my end. Cardamone's top of the hill, coming through the S's. Only gonna have to do this another 6 times. I'm just gonna let the countdown clock go, and at some point, once it knows, and Cardamone always hits that, and he looks like he brushed the wall and coming out there too. At some point, the calculator that the computer has will tell us that we have 5 laps left. But I think we're gonna have enough to say it's like 5 laps. It'll be like exactly the time that we had in the session. I don't know if the Pro Series race might have ended is it gonna end a little bit earlier just because they're running maybe a couple seconds faster? And last lap for Jeff here, Cardamone, 2 minute 10 seconds. So just gotta keep it together. Another 5 laps here. I believe that is 5 laps to go because we're 76 of 81. Maybe? I really didn't think this would go against the time. This is like a, what, a 6-hour session? 2 hours? Or is it a 5-hour session? We've been broadcasting for 3 hours. And my stats are that I haven't dropped any frames, so that's good. Certainly dropped some data on the leaderboard. We'll see what we can do about that. So Cardamone, he had done a 2 minute 10 lap. This last lap was a 2 minute 8. And actually, Chris Yatito here also ran a 2:08, so that was his fastest lap of the race here. 50 seconds back. Not much to be gained there. So I think, let's see. So according to my data, Jeff Cardamone is going to have the fastest lap of the race at a 2:07.728. Let me go ahead and put this on the screen. It'll say a 2:07.728. You can see Medina at a 2:07.970. And that last lap for Yatito was a 2:08.793, so that was his fastest lap of the race. I wonder if this calculator, that was why we never saw lap times, because it knew the whole time that we were going to go against the clock. Okay, there we go. So there it's going to update us. 5 laps to go. We finally see it. How many laps we have to go. As Cardamone comes out of Hell Corner onto the mountain straight. Trying to look if there's any battles. It's really spread out at this point, I can tell you. Yatito, 52 seconds back. Let's go on board with some drivers here. Sherburne's, this is lap traffic ahead of him, that Forge car up ahead. He comes out of the chase, heading towards Murray's Corner. 2 Forge cars ahead of him. And no, Cardamone is not in the pit like this thing says. We'll go with some static cam for a little bit. I love the static cam. You can really see the speed of the cars with this. The closest battle on the track is Johnson is 7 seconds back from Gargaro. That is the closest battle on the track. And even he's pretty much on his own around there. Four laps to go. Hell corner. Onto the mountain straight. Nice view here. Start the uphill ascent. Gonna head to quarry. Really impressive driving by this field. Because we're gonna have... Let me check one thing here. So, is Gelder back on the track? So Gelder is back out on the track. So we're gonna have 26 cars of the 27 are gonna like basically end the race. So that's pretty amazing. We were talking about early on that I had noticed, I was talking to Mark, and he said that, or I had told him that, that there was no incident limit in this race, and he was kind of amazed that there should be 60 incidents in this race, so like 56 or something incident limit, usually on this series, but, so he made a comment in the general chat after I let him know about that maybe the settings were wrong, but everybody kind of said that, well, if you get that many incidents here, you're probably not going to finish the race. So yeah, I would say that my overlay today has kind of been defeated by Bathurst. This is the longest track that I've broadcast, and the data about, like, say, the gaps here, when somebody goes out of range, it says they're in the pit. So we're gonna have to get that sorted out. The thing is, though, Ron, that there was actually no limit on this particular session. Like, in the session, unless they changed it right before the race, there was literally no limit on this session. Like, there should have been, according to Mark. But whoever had set it up, I guess Mike didn't have that set, so not that it made any difference. So 3 laps to go as Cardamone heads through the quarry once again. So, yeah, exactly. That's why nobody was going to finish the race if you get that many. Because this is just a bunch of 0X's is basically what it is. You brush the wall constantly. I drove an Indianapolis race yesterday in the IR18. I brushed the wall 15 times during the race. It was not fast at the end of the race, but never had more. I had 0X at the end of the race, and I had brushed the wall 15 times. So, this is Brian Halleck. So he has the longest stint of these cars at the end of the race, like down to about the 15th position. But in the top 10, he is on the longest stint of all the drivers out here. So he started 10th. He's moved up to 8th. Let's go through the top 10. We're on 3 laps to go here. So Cardamone, we know him quite well. We've been watching him a lot. Chris Iatito, so he's kind of the setup guru at Forge, from what I understand. Chris Sherburne in 3rd. David Gargaro in 4th. Daniel Johnson. So he dropped back I think he was up to 3rd spot at some point or another. And he's dropped back to 5th after that last round of pit stops. We have the big mover who's might not look like a big mover on paper, but because he started 2nd, but he was back to 25th, and he's up to 6th now. Nathan Medina, independent driver. Team might be looking to get this guy on their team. Actually, wait, with that said, he does have a team. He's on Team Dynasty. Not sure how big that team is, since he appears to be the only driver running for them tonight. At least in this race. Maybe they're a Pro Series team or something else. Robert Deloach in 7th. We were just talking about Brian Halleck here running in 8th. Maurice Gomillion in 9th. And no problem there, John. We appreciate you engaging in the chat here. And Steve Paulison, he's in 10th. As David Anderson went a little wide, and he might have hit that wall. Let's see if we can get a quick replay. Let somebody go by there. Into quarry here. He's going to take it just a little bit wide. Oh, yeah, let's he kind of, let's go on board with him. He looked like he saved it, and then just under the, whoa, he gets out and then puts it into the concrete there. Two laps to go here. Actually, this is coming through the chase, so at start finish, we're going to be on the final lap. Then we're just going to come under the, like a minute under the 3-hour time limit for this race. Or for this session. Jeff Cardamone dominated this race. 69 seconds ahead. Final lap. He's going to navigate through Hell Corner into the mountain straight. Let's go on board with our leader here. Drives for GCA Racing. The other driver driving for GCA Racing in this race is Rob Courtney. Let's see, where is Rob right now? I think he's back in 22nd position. Now we're really into the mountain section. As these corners just come, they tick down like 6, 7, 8, or not tick up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just really quickly. Through McPhilmy Park into Skyline and then into the S's. Final time for Jeff Cardamone. Now he starts his descent down the mountain through the Dipper onto Conrad Strait, under the Jim Beam sign. There's some lap cars ahead, but I don't know if he'll catch them in time. Shouldn't be an issue. Actually, that's quite a slow car. I wonder if that guy ran out of fuel. Who was that? I wonder. Was one of the kinetic cars under the Armor All Bridge. Drew Murray's car, almost said McMurray's corner. For the final time, Jeff Cardamone's going to take victory at Bathurst 500 in the Sportsman America series, or major series. And he's just going to pull it off. This is he going to do donuts? Or is he just going to, his arms are probably tired. Feet are probably tired, muscles tired. We're going to have Chris Yetito coming through. I think that's through the chase. Yes, through the chase. He's going to come under the Armor All Bridge, and he's going to come through Murray's final time. Jeff's just parked it over here. That kinetic car is still going slow. Is he out of fuel? I think that's out of fuel. Was that... I don't see... Like, they're just going to park it. Sherburne's going to come third. And we'll start waiting for their drivers in the... waiting for an interview on the Discord. So everybody's coming across. We just had to wait for Gargaro to come across here. Final car to cross the start finish line in the lead lap anyway. Very good. So we will set up for our interviews if we're going to have them, and otherwise we're going to go through the results. But we'll be right back while we get everything together. All right, so I've got first driver coming up in the waiting for interview in the booth. I'm going to pull him in here, and we'll get some thoughts from him. So, hey, Chris, this is Matt up here in the booth from the Race First booth. Congratulations on second. Do I have you? Do I have a copy on you?
Yeah, I copy, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm great. How about you? I'm tired from this race. How about you?
Yeah, my hands are sore. I started using other fingers to use my paddle shifters because I started not being able to click off gears. So it's like brain control fingers and like.
Yeah, I was telling on the broadcast that I've never done a 3-hour race in one go. I've done a 3-hour endurance race where I was like 3 hours in the car, but I had an hour and a half break in there. So tell me about your race. I do remember the start. You had a really good start.
I did, yeah. It was something that we practice as a team quite a bit. So a credit to all my Forge teammates on that one. We always practice that. We always try to get in our grid position, and that way we know exactly what we need for the run down to turn one. And I knew right where my braking point was, and I snuck on the inside of Jeff. And then I waited for Nathan because I I had seen Nathan practicing, and I was just waiting for him to make a mistake and try and stay within shouting distance of Jeff. Um, it's really redemption to me for Jeff because he had a lot of pace in the Formula One race.
Yeah, I heard
And
he put it on pole. It was Belgium,
yes, yep,
and did not win that race, from what I heard. So,
yep.
well, anybody you want to thank out there? Congratulations on the second place. I was going to say one other thing. So, Mark Stevenson kind of gave me the run through before this race, and he said that you're kind of the setup guy at Forge.
I am, yep.
So very cool. So, anybody else you want to thank? Anybody watching tonight, or you know?
Yeah, just thank my teammates. It's always nice to have somebody to converse with, bounce ideas off of. And I just want to thank everybody for watching and Major Series for putting this all together.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're gonna see you at Fontana. Hopefully I'm not fired by then. So I hope to see you then in Fontana. Any thoughts going into Fontana?
Yeah, it's a great driver's track. I really like the downforce cars. GT cars are okay with me, but I'm more a fan of the Formula One cars and the downforce cars.
Yeah, I'm a big IndyCar guy, so I'm hoping to broadcast that one.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting the setup tweaked for that one. Those cars are always a fun balance there when it comes to downforce and mechanical grip and tire life. So, um, and can you drive that car in traffic? Because it's one thing to set a good quali lap, another thing to get it driven in traffic. So
That's right. Well, congratulations on second position there, and we'll see you at Fontana.
right,
Take care.
thank you very much.
And here is our victor up here in the booth, our dominating performance by Jeff Hardimone here. Congratulations on the victory there, Jeff.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
And hopefully I didn't butcher your name.
No, that was really close. You got it.
Very cool. So tell me about your start. You didn't have the best of starts, did you?
No, it was pretty terrible. I didn't think it was that bad at first, and then both Nathan and I think Nathan, Daniel, and Chris all just came flying by. So I just figured it's a long race. Settle in. Don't do anything crazy. So.
And that is exactly what you did. And I don't know, what was the final score here? You're like a minute ahead or a minute 9 ahead? I thought it was a minute 9 at one point in time. But yeah, dominating performance for you.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time in this car lately. I really like the track as well. It's been a favorite of mine for more than a decade. So, and the car it's a handful, but the track felt pretty good. It started to lose a lot of grip towards the end there, but just kept it together. I mean, you could see I made a couple more mistakes in that last stint. Hit the wall a couple extra times. That probably pushing it a little bit too hard.
Yeah, we watched you a lot in that final stint just because it was pretty spread out. So we were your car was on the camera a lot. Hey, so from what I've heard, this is a little bit of a redemption for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it was not a great season so far. A couple opportunities that were squandered. Made a mistake in the F1 race. Forgot to put fuel in the tank beforehand when I was.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So I didn't even make it a full lap on that one. Then we had some contact at Watkins Glen, I think, and then just like a host of other like hardware issues throughout a couple reboots, like the second split of the Silver Crown race. I was up in the top 5 and my computer just turned off on me. So I think I got a lot of the gremlins under control, and I'm just trying to, get some points back, hopefully make the playoffs and do better next year.
Yeah, well, congratulations on the victory. Anybody you want to thank out there, like teammates or like setup builders or whatever it might be?
Absolutely. So Team GCA, Rob Courtney, and Mac, they're both super supportive. Spent a lot of time together. Building setups ourselves, finding stuff on the forums, and then kind of tweaking it. So I think we kind of roll your own shop. Super appreciative of all their help this year.
Yeah, well, very good job. I mean, tell me about driving all these different kind of cars in this series, and then next week or in 2 weeks, we're going to be at Fontana. It's going to be completely different.
Is it California, I think?
Yeah, Auto Club is Fontana, California is what they call it. So
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm not an oval guy. So, it's, there's certain cars that I like, and then there's some tracks that are really good. But early on in the season, when I mentioned that it was kind of seemed all over the place, people chimed in and said that Mike likes to choose difficult combinations. Otherwise, if you're having too much fun, that it's not necessarily what he's going for. So it just keeps you on your toes. I mean, from dirt to short track, and then F1 cars, and then here with this beast, it's just it's something new, and it takes a lot of time to work on all these cars. If you've never been in them in some of these tracks.
Yeah, tell me about it. I was first learning about this series, in the last couple of weeks, and I was like, wow, they're running all these different cars that I can kind of like stick to one and be okay at it. So I can't imagine driving all these different kind of cars. So congratulations on the victory, man.
Yeah, thank you very much, Matt. Appreciate your work in hosting this tonight and running the broadcast.
Yeah, I hope, as I told Chris, that I hope I'm not fired by next race, so I hope to be there. We had some issues, if you watch the broadcast again, but overall, I think it went well. So we'll get all those kind of issues corrected for next race.
Games, right?
Yeah, that's right.
First race, so
yep.
Give yourself a little credit. We
yep.
really appreciate it, man. Hopefully I'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have you on the podium and get you in that interview. So thanks again and congratulations on the victory.
Thanks, Matt. Have a good one.
You too. All right, so let me go through the final order here. I'll have my final results if this screen shows up correctly. Let me get that off of the screen. So we had Jeff Cardamone in first, Chris Yatito in second, Chris Sherburne in third, so that is our podium. David Gargaro in fourth, Nathan Medina in fifth, Robert DeLoach in sixth, Daniel B. Johnson in... Actually, so that was our car running out of fuel there at the very end. That slow car that we saw. He dropped back several spots right at the end. So Brian Halleck in eighth, Maurice Gomillion. So that's where Nathan, I was just going to go back to fifth place. Nathan Medina moved up to fifth, got a top 5 after that mistake he made early on. So Brian Halleck in 8th, Maurice Gomillion in 9th, Stephen Paulison in 10th, David Anderson in 11th, driving around with that rear wing that was missing. We'll have to figure out if that was actually a thing or not. I don't think it was. Robert Covey in 12th, George Angus in 13th, Ernie Ludwig in 14th, Gerard Gilbert in 15th. Moving on to the next set. Oops, that's wrong. Timothy Klaus in 16th, Greg McEnany in 17th, Daniel Davis in 18th, Dominic Warwick. Joey Haynes comes on at 20th, Jason McSparron. He had a good run early on and unfortunately dropped back to 21st. Rob Courtney, teammate of our race winner, in 22nd, Zachary Brown in 23rd, Dale Green 24th, Matt Gelder in 25th. Rob Powers, I think he was the last car running, in 26th. And final car, Jeremy Tester, only car out in this race tonight, in 27th. So final shout out to Mission Australia, provides nationwide service to help find safe and affordable housing. And among other things, visit missionaustralia.com.au to donate to them. That is our charity for tonight. And of course, Major's Garage, where you can find free setups for over 40 different iRacing vehicles. These are made by top pro level experts, and some of them are free, like we said earlier, and you can pay like a monthly fee and get a bunch of different setups out there. So thanks everybody for watching tonight. So this for Race First, I'm Matt Houston. I was a broadcaster tonight, and I hope to see you at Fontana, California for Indy cars. And that's my passion, so I hope to be there.